Hey everyone, it's Autumn. Today I wanted to do a video where I show you two different looks using this Lancome Louvre palette. This palette I think was created by Lisa Eldridge. I'll try to have the information on the screen, but I believe she's still the creative director for Lancome, and she came out with this collection, so I wanted to grab it. In a previous video, I did kind of go through and do a couple of swatches of this palette and kind of give my first thoughts on it, but I thought it might be fun just to kind of give two looks. So this one right here is the first look, and this is more like the everyday kind of soft look that you can get from this palette. And I used everything in it except for the green. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that look now. Okay, so I'm going to go wash my face, come back, and I am going to then do another look using this palette that's maybe a little bit more dramatic, a little bit more suited for going out. So give me a moment and I'll be right back.
Who told you that it was too late? When was it that you started leaning that way? Four tires cut into the clay. It dries up and now there's just one road to take. It's growing up over with green. So easy to drive on, but not what it seems. The poison is spilling upstream, and it's taking out every living thing, every living thing. Who told you that you were no good? There's no use in trying, and even if you could, it wouldn't come out like it should. This stubborn kudzu just covers these words. Could you listen to somebody else? Will you only drink from the thoughts of yourself? Are you under the canopy spell? You dig in your heels and spread the disease. You're spreading the disease. it's too late.
So this is the second completed look. This one is more for going out, maybe some nighttime. I mean, this could be an everyday look for somebody else, but typically I don't wear color on my eyes. So this palette is $90, and that is a lot of money for a palette that, in my opinion, is not a complete look. I was able to add this to other products to kind of get the look that I was going for, but I also see why this is not a complete look. So all of the shades in here, including the highlighter, I would say, because it's so sheer, you kind of see how sheer that highlighter is. Everything in here, because of the sheer kind of iridescent quality it has, can go over any skin tone. And I think that is probably why this palette isn't a complete look in a palette, because if you were to try to get a complete look in a palette for any skin tone, it's not going to work for other skin tones. Like when you have like your sort of base layer eyeshadow shades or anything like that, it's not going to work for everybody. But since these are very iridescent, I feel like you can put this on any skin tone and it's going to work. So this would be great to get as a gift if you were worried about that. But I will say there isn't a huge difference in the shades unless you apply them, obviously aside from the green, unless you apply them over like a base. So when you probably saw me do the first look and I was just kind of blending them together, they literally all blended together just for a nice kind of ethereal looking eye look, beautiful everyday look. It's fine by me, but there isn't a huge difference in these three bottom shades, which I'll swatch again for you here. Like the depth, like this is the deepest one. This is pink, this goes a little gold, and then this is obviously a little copper. But not a huge range here as far as like being able to build depth and dimension. So you're gonna have to get that from something else. Now, typically when I build depth and dimension in my eye look, I'm using a brown or a gray of some kind. So you could build depth and dimension with this, but I feel like that's kind of a lot. That's kind of like a special shade to add in later. Also, when I swatch this out with my finger and I really rub it in, you get a lot more of like the purple in it, and I don't know if that's gonna pick up. But on my eye, when using a brush, you don't really get a lot of that. And I did put it over a brown base just to make it stand out more. So I'll kind of show you, this is the brown base that I used for the eye look. It's Groundwork by MAC. And I'm gonna put that down. Actually, I'm gonna put a layer of it down and swatch all of the shadows over it. And then that way it's gonna give you a better idea of what these shadows are gonna look like on a darker skin tone. So there is Groundwork. And I'll do the highlighter too. So let's start with the highlighter over that base that I just created. So there's a highlighter, which I guess that does look a little bit, obviously you're gonna be using a brush though and not your finger. But I don't know, maybe that wouldn't work. Okay, and then let's go in with the green, copper, the gold, and then the last one is the pink shade in here. And then here they are on their own here. So I feel like it was very smart to kind of make this collection iridescent so it could be more versatile. But again, if you were somebody like me who likes to buy these makeup palettes like this, and the chance that they're gonna be great for travel, this may not work unless you add other things to it. The other thing I did wanna mention is when I use a brush with these shades are a little bit flaky. Aside from the highlighter, which the formula isn't as flaky, and which you can probably tell in the pan that the highlighter is very smooth, and then these, especially these two, and then the green have some texture to them. And I noticed when going through with the fluffy brush that I was getting a little bit of fallout. You can kind of prevent that though by kicking off your brush a little bit, but then again, you're not going to be getting the full effect of the shadow. Or you could also apply these with your fingers. So if you're gonna use this a lot and you like all of the shades, I would say this is worth the money. I also tried to compare it to what I would pay for just the highlighter, because this highlighter right here is 5 grams and it's a beautiful highlighter. And I'm like, well, the palette's 90. And so I wanted to compare it to another pricey highlighter, which is the Chanel. And I think, I'll have to double check, but I think I actually paid close to that for this highlighter. But this highlighter has 10 grams of product and this one is 5. So if you're buying it just for the highlighter, maybe it's not worth it. So it just really depends on how you're going to use the palette. So I think overall it's a nice palette, it's nice, magnetic. I think it's very versatile. I think Lisa did a really great job, but I wish maybe they had made 2 iterations of this, maybe a deeper, darker version and then maybe a lighter version, especially because after swatching this highlighter on my hand, I don't know how it's gonna look on deeper skin tones. So anyway, that's really all I have to say. I just wanted to try this out and maybe give 2 different looks from it. And I think my makeup looks really nice. Now, I obviously would not wear this every day just because I don't do a lot of color on my eyes, but I do think it looks nice. So let me know your thoughts on this. Is this something you're gonna pick up or something you're interested in? Let me know, and I will talk to you guys in the next one.